Feed and water requirements of farm livestock. A presentation by Lucy Late. In this presentation, I'll be covering the feed and water requirements for cattle and horses. Cattle and horse stomachs. Cattle have four chambers to their stomach, whereas horses have only one. Horses are known as hindgut fermenters because they digest cellulose, the compound found in grass that gives it its shape, in the beginning of their large intestines. Their large intestines are much larger than that of a cow. Cows are known as foregut fermenters as they digest cellulose in the first chamber of their four-part stomach called the rumen. Types of feed. There are 5 different feed classifications: concentrates, forages, compound, supplements, and succulents. Concentrates are single cereal incomplete feeds, meaning that these on their own will not provide all the nutrients and minerals that horses and cattle need. Barley, oats, rolled oats, naked oats, corn, maize, sugar beet, and soy are all examples of concentrate feeds. Forages are high fiber feeds, perfect for keeping the digestive tract of your horses and cattle running smoothly. These consist of hay, silage, chaff, pony nuts, and sugar beet. Compounds are complete feeds that are fed to horses and cattle, such as pasture mix. Supplements are given to horses and cattle who are low on specific vitamins and minerals, or as an aid in helping health problems such as issues with joints. Supplements consist of cod liver oil, linseed oil, and garlic powder. Garlic powder is given to horses as a repellent of flies. When the horses sweat, the flies are reluctant because of the smell of garlic. Succulents are mainly given to horses. Succulents are given to horses as added variety in their diet, as they are mainly kept as pets. Whereas cows are mainly used for beef production, farmers tend to stick to the easier, quicker option of giving them compound feeds. Succulents are items such as carrots, sugar beet, apples, etc. Feeding amounts. Both horses and cattle require 2.5% of their body weight in feed per day. The percentage of forage and concentrate depends on the animal's workload as well as the weather. However, this is down to the science side of feeding. The art of feeding states that if your animal is at a healthy body weight, either receiving under or over 2.5% of their body weight daily, then that is completely okay. Resting horses should receive 100% forage and 0 concentrate. Light working animals should receive 75% forage and 25% concentrate. A medium workload should receive 60% forage and 40% concentrate, and a hard workload should receive 50-50 of both concentrate and forage material. On top of feeding horses differently, according to workload, it is also necessary to change the amount of feed during different weather. In the winter, it is necessary that cows are fed higher amounts of food to keep warm. This also applies when cows are lactating as they need more food to keep their energy high. Intake in cows can increase up to 30% in colder climates. However, it can also decrease by 30% in hot and humid climates. Conditions such as mud and snow can also decrease intake by at least 15%. Quality of feed. The quality of feed is highly important to prevent diseases and false economy. False economy and disease are both things that all farmers owners should avoid at all costs. Quality of feed is highly important in keeping costs low and animals healthy. Providing horses with dusty or moldy food is incredibly risky, as horses are highly sensitive to mold and dust spores. This can cause a disease called recurrent airway obstruction, or RAO, and is also commonly referred to as HEAVS. This is a respiratory disease similar to asthma in humans. A way of preventing such disease is to soak or steam the hay before giving it to the horse and serving it wet. This way, horses can ingest the extended dust molecules, making sure buckets and feeding units are kept clean is also a very good way of preventing animals from becoming ill or being put off by their food. Not only does poor quality food cause illness, but it is also detrimental to the cost of feed. Feeding poor quality feed is false economy, as the horses and cows will not be getting the correct amount of nutrients, this meaning that the owner/farmer will have to provide more food to keep on top of healthy nutrient levels. This will cost more than feeding a high quality feed and not needing to feed higher quantities. Different life stages means different food. Different animal life stages require different levels of the 7 key nutrients. The 7 key nutrients consist of water, fats, carbohydrates, protein, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Younger animals will need a higher level of protein and calcium as they are growing and developing. Animals in their prime require all 7 of the key nutrients as part of a healthy, balanced diet. Elderly animals will need higher levels of calcium to keep their bones strong, fats to keep them warm as they will be losing weight due to their age, and protein in order to give them energy. Sick animals will need higher levels of water and vitamins. Animals in production will be given higher levels of carbs, which turn to fats because they are not being burnt off, and fats to fatten them up for beef. Lactating animals will need higher levels of protein to replenish energy levels, as well as to provide to their offspring to grow strong and healthy, and water to avoid dehydration. Weaning animals will need more minerals, calcium, and proteins, and working animals will need more protein, carbs, because they need to be able to work efficiently and effectively. Feeding related issues: laminitis in horses and hypomagnesemia in cattle. On this slide, there are images provided of the effects of both laminitis in horses and hypomagnesemia in cattle. Laminitis is a very painful inflammatory condition in horses that affects the hooves, specifically the laminae that bond the hoof to the wall of the pedal bone in the horse's hoof. It is caused by a high intake of soluble carbohydrates such as sugar and starch. The undigested sugars and starch begin to break down the bacteria in the gut that digest fiber. This releases toxins in the hindgut and ultimately disrupts blood flow. Calling a vet is advised when laminitis occurs. Hypomagnesemia is abnormally low levels of magnesium in the blood. This occurs when the intake of magnesium is exceeded by its output, most commonly a disease found in lactating cows at grass. This is because grass can be very low in magnesium, whereas the output of milk is high in magnesium. Symptoms include restlessness, fallen down animals, convulsions, and also death. Treatments for cattle with hypomagnesemia will need veterinary care, where they are usually given an injection containing a magnesium and calcium solution. A daily supplement of magnesium should be given to animals at risk. This can be given in the form of salt licks, molasses concentrates, or hay. Storage of feed. Storing hay and silage, storing ruminant and non-ruminant feed, and how to prevent vermin. The storage of hay and silage is very important, as this is a very big part of both cattle and horses' feeding regimes. Hay should be stored in a dry area, usually in a barn away from wet weather conditions, should smell and look nice with no weeds, not stacked too high as workers must retrieve the bale off the top, and stored on pallets in order for airflow. This will lower the risk of fire. Silage should be kept tightly wrapped to keep the moisture in, keeping it fresh for the cattle to eat. Both kept away from the likelihood of vermin, as they may defecate on the produce, ultimately causing false economy. Bags of feed should be kept off of the ground, away from the chance of vermin biting their way through the bags and opening them, giving way to the chance of false economy. As soon as the bags of feed are opened, oxygen is getting to the feed, lowering the nutritional value of the product. It is important to keep the storage of ruminant feed and non-ruminant feed separated in order to prevent the transmission of BSE, bovine spongiform encephalopathy. It is mentioned in the BSE-related feed ban provided by the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development that ruminant animals should not be fed non-ruminant feed, and non-ruminant animals should not be fed ruminant feeds, preventing cross-contamination. Here are some ways of how not to store feed and hay. In this image, you can see that although the bags are placed on top of pallets, this is not preventing vermin from getting to the bags, as this one is ripped and spilling everywhere, contaminating it completely. This image shows that the barn floor is compacted with straw and hay. This is a major fire hazard, as well as the broken material of wood and cardboard is a big fire hazard, as well as a potential danger of the animals. If an animal were to swallow a stray piece of wood or cardboard due to the debris in the barn, this would present a serious health risk. Preparation of feed. Slicing carrots lengthways is the best way to feed them to your horse, as elderly horses' teeth start to grow outwards, making it very difficult for the horse to chew. Doing this will avoid the chance of choking horses. Soaking sugar beet is important to avoid compacted colic, and soaking or steaming dusty hay can prevent heave in horses. Water quality and availability. Water quality is highly important to cattle and horses. Rivers are only okay if they are not sand-based and are constantly flowing over rocks, and water that is stood still can be dangerous. Water quality is incredibly important to cows and horses as they are both very sensitive to mold and can be put off very easily. A few different types of water systems include automatic waterers are okay as they are a constant fresh water supply, however in the winter they may become frozen over. Buckets are a cheap alternative and an easy way to keep an eye on when your horse drinks, so that they do not drink directly after eating to prevent colic or diarrhea. However, these can be knocked over. Rivers/streams are a very good option as long as they are not sand-based and are constantly flowing. Sand-based rivers pose a tremendous risk to horses as the sand can be ingested, causing colic, and deep rivers can be a risk to cows as they can get stranded. The water must be constantly flowing to prevent the accumulation of algae and bacteria that can be detrimental to the health of horses and cattle. Fresh water must always be provided. In conclusion, it is highly important to meet all of the needs that cattle and horses require, ranging from understanding the differences between their digestive systems to the way they both keep their feeds needs to be stored, kept, prepared, and in order to maintain a happy and healthy animal. Thank you for watching.